Shout out to my nurse base. This one's for you. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa, and if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that right now. Today I'm going to be giving a couple of tips for new grad nurses while I get ready for church. All right, so my first tip would be everything that you need to learn for your specific role as a nurse, you will learn on the job. That includes blood work, IVs, IV medications, IV push medications, all of that. Everything that you learn in nursing school is to pass the NCLEX and nothing more, nothing less. So if you know ATI, UWorld, all of that stuff, even like the clinicals, like when I had clinical sims, we practiced IVs on mannequins, and that was not very realistic. So don't stress. Everything you need to know, you will learn on the floor. And that brings me into tip number 2. There will be plenty of times where you will feel inadequate, and that is okay. You will begin to question why you became a nurse. You may feel incompetent. You may feel like you are not cut out for this, but I promise you, it gets better. It's all lies, because we all have to start out somewhere. Every nurse before you, every nurse that's precepting you, every nurse that you're working with alongside on the floor, they were once in your position too, and they didn't become a nurse by knowing everything. They didn't start off on the floor knowing everything. So I need you to give yourself grace, have patience with learning these new skills. Some of them will take some time to master, especially blood work. But yeah, be patient, be kind to yourself, give yourself grace, and know that you are going to get better with time. It is not a race. I promise you, the more patient you are with learning these skills, the more time you put into mastering these skills, you will be just fine. Tip number 3. There are plenty of specialties. So you have your med-surg, tele, ICU, L&D, mother, baby, but you also have your outpatient, and a lot of people don't talk about that. You have your outpatient specialties, you have your children's hospital, pediatrics, you have your aesthetic jobs, you have your surgery, same-day surgery clinics. And now, while some of these may be harder to get into than others, I'm not gonna lie about that. For example, I wanted to be a labor nurse, but I didn't get in right after nursing school. I started off in med-surg tele, and after 2 years, I am now a women's health nurse doing labor, postpartum, NICU, and antepartum. So you may have to start off somewhere else, but I promise you, it's not the end of the world. You'll get in where you're supposed to be. But yeah, there are a million specialties. Honestly, when I went into nursing, I had a very, very slim understanding of what nurses do, and I really didn't know all the specialties that nurses were a part of, like even research and some of the tech roles. And I was like, oh my God, nurses really be everywhere. So please take that into consideration, and don't think the hospital is the end all be all for nurses, because nurses are everywhere. So there's even a lot of work from home, remote nursing right now, virtual nurses that help with admissions and triage. But yeah, you have a lot of options, and that goes to show you that if you start off in a specialty and you hate it, apply to another one. apply to another one. If you don't like the hospital, go outpatient. You have so many options. That brings me to tip number 4. It is okay to switch jobs. It is okay to switch jobs. Now, this is something that I actually had to come to terms with, because I feel like my parents' generation, like older generations, they like were so like hell-bent on just staying with the same company, getting a pension, 401k, all that stuff. And like switching jobs was never really like a main option for them. And I feel like the younger generations are like, look, I don't like this job, they're not treating me right, so I'm gonna go where I'm treated fairly, which is the move, honestly. And for a while, I was like considering switching like hospitals, and I kind of felt some type of guilt about it, because I'm like, I'm supposed to stay at the same job and, you know, build a pension, 401k, all that. But I was like, you know what? There are so much better facilities out there, and I'm gonna explore that. And I feel like, especially during the time I became a nurse, travel nursing was really, really big. Travel nurses really showed you like, listen, I'm gonna go where I am respected and appreciated and compensated fairly. And I adapted that mindset. Like, listen, even when I got out of nursing school, I didn't get paid initial new grad pay, because I took on a resource resident role. So I was already doing more than most as a new grad, because listen, if I'm going to be taking on a lot of work in my role, I'm gonna be compensated fairly. And I agree with that. So I said all that to say, it's okay to switch jobs. You don't like a hospital, you don't like a facility, you don't like your specialty, switch jobs. I promise you it's not the end of the world. And I feel like, especially today, nurses are always being hired. Now, nurses will always have a job. So now what the downfall to that is, some hospitals may want you to have at least a year experience for certain specialties. So you may need to thug it out for a year, but I promise you it'll go back quick. And even if you're like in a, now I don't advise this, but if you're in a new grad residency and you absolutely can't stand it, you absolutely hate it, I would look into switching into another new grad residency, but see what your hospital's policy is on leaving said residency, because I know some of them will have you pay them back the money that they put into your residency. So I wouldn't do that without calculating or finding out about that, because you don't want to owe them any money. Okay, tip number 5. My tip number 5, I would say, personalize your care approach. Now, what I liked about my orientation when I started, I had, I think like 3 different preceptors. So I got to see how they each did things, and I picked certain things that I liked from each and adapted it to my personal care approach. So if you have the opportunity to be oriented by multiple people, I would say to pick up one of the things that you like that each person does and adapt those into your practice. With that being said, you don't want to base your practice on how one nurse does everything. So you don't want to be like, okay, she, does her care like this, I'm going to do exactly what she does, and this is going to be my care approach. No, you take what you learn, you personalize it, and you make it your own. So say you learn something from said nurse, you like it, you adapt it, and you personalize it. So that is how you get your own personalized care approach. So you're not saying, Nurse Jackie showed me this, so I'm gonna do it exactly this way. You're gonna say, no, I learned how to do this, and I'm gonna put my own safe spin on it, keyword safe, and make it my own. So, and do with that what you will, but personalize your care approach. Tip number 6, create a budget. It is so easy to start making more money and wanting to splurge. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't splurge, but splurge within reason. Create a budget of how your funds will be allocated, whether that's for rent, car payment, utilities, phone bill, all that stuff. And whatever you have left over, make sure you are saving some of it. And also make sure that you are, just creating a realistic plan. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it's easy to get that first check and be like, all right, I'm about to blow a bag at the mall, or get this designer bag, or go get me a luxury car. And I'm not gonna lie to you, because I did it. So, and it's okay to splurge on yourself within reason. Just make sure you got money left over when you come home. You don't wanna go buy the car, the designer bag, the clothes, and all that. And then when you come home, you have nothing to show for it because you spent all your money. So, create a budget. I promise you, you will thank me later, and stick to that budget, because you can create it and be like, all right, I created it, and still go over budget. So create a budget, stick to your plan, save some money, invest also in a high yield savings account. So when you put your money in a high yield savings account, the money that you put in there accrues interest, so your money is making money. So that's not a bad idea either. And when you have some money left over, splurge on yourself. So yeah, save your money and splurge within reason. Tip number 7 is my favorite. Probably would have been number 1 for me, to be honest. Use your PTO. Use your mother effing PTO, okay? Because 9 times out of 10, they will take it away. Because I know some hospitals, especially the old hospital I worked at, if you didn't use it, I think it expired every year. So there is no reason you should be working yourself to death and not taking no vacation time. Even if it's you don't have anywhere to go, okay, take a personal day. Take a personal day, go to a spa, go relax, or just chill at home, have a little staycation. You don't gotta do anything crazy, but you need that personal time mentally. Nursing is draining, mentally, physically, emotionally, and you will need those days where you just need to pour into yourself, because how are you going to take care of others if you're not taking care of yourself? And I feel like taking time off is the ultimate self-care. Use your PTO, do not let it expire, and make sure you look at your facility's holiday time and PTO time requirements and see when they expire, because 9 times out of 10, sometimes you won't be able to use those days. But I know for certain facilities, they'll pay you out that holiday time that you didn't use, but the PTO will expire. So use your PTO, take your vacations. If you don't take a vacation, stay at home, have a self-care day, have a self-care week. Just use that time. Last but not least, tip number 8, enjoy the journey. Enjoy the journey. Do not try to rush the process. Nursing is not one size fits all, so your journey is gonna look different from the next nurse's journey. But make sure you enjoy the ride. Like, I remember when I was going into nursing school, I was like, after I get my year of experience, I'm gonna go back and get my master's. After I got out of school, child, I was not rushing to go back. So, and I realized too, that foundationally, it will be better for me to get more experience on the floor to kind of get a better grasp on the foundations of nursing in my role before I do decide to go back and become a nurse practitioner, because that will not only strengthen my practice, it will give me a better foundational understanding for when I do independently treat my patients. So yeah, don't rush the process. Enjoy the journey. Take your time. Like I said, have grace. Give yourself grace. And enjoy the ride. Like, nursing has afforded me a lifestyle that I am so grateful for. And I feel like it is a profession that receives a lot of backlash, but I think it's so worth it, and I'm happy that I did it. Initially, I never wanted to be a nurse, but I'll tell y'all that story another day. But yeah, enjoy the journey. Be patient with yourself. Take your time. Make sure you're asking questions. Always ask questions when you don't understand things. Don't act like you don't act like you know everything. Ask those questions. Be patient with yourself. Look out for your fellow nurse. Don't be a bully. And yeah, just enjoy nursing. Enjoy the perks of nursing. Enjoy your role. Enjoy learning. I feel like in nursing, we never stop learning. So continue to sharpen your skills, continue to acquire new skills, and continue to freshen up on the skills that you already have. And yeah, enjoy the ride. I see you, fellow nurse. You got this. All right, so thank you for watching. I'm ready. I'm about to go to church, and I hope these tips were helpful. So if you haven't already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.